It's a fact you're not here. You ain't even real, but you still bring me fear. You make my bones so tired that my soul stands up. But now I'm starting to need to bleed to fill this cup. It's like I'm starting to need to bleed to fill this cup. Oh.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to The Working Wing, the podcast where every week we watch some episodes of The West Wing and break them down from our own unique working leftist perspective. My name is Tim Schultz, and joining me, as always, my dear friend, longtime debate partner, and do you want to see him do some push-ups? I do. It's Gillian Collins.
Well, you'll get that and a couple of burpees on top of it with the revolutionary energy I'm trying to bring to it today. Anyway, we are here, Tim, with the next two episodes of the beginning. I want to say like beginning kind of start of the mid-season of the West Wing.
Yeah.
We are still in the midst of the middle of the Bartlett
the Bartlett scandal.
The Bartlett subpoenas are starting to get issued. And we start off with some other bald guy. You know, and I've been noticing for these episodes, they like to have like a lot of side characters that like are around for a second. Like, for example, CJ's assistant, this like brunette lady, like brown or black haired lady. Carol, right? Exactly. I like never get her name, but like she like more and more, especially throughout these scandal episodes, their roles become more vital. But anyway, it's like some bald guy who I was associating as Mr. Rollins was getting swarmed by a media swarm in front of his limo. And it's because he's about to hand out the subpoenas that he has, you know, the list of names.
And it's actually it's like, given everything that's going on in our country today in 2023, it's very interesting seeing this like dramatization of a special prosecutor and grand jury investigating the president.
Well, this is all based off of Clinton.
Oh yeah, this was all based off of Clinton for sure.
Which I mean, I would also say is like a bunch of like it's much more politically charged than it is legally charged.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Yeah, but Oliver, the White House counsel is arguing over subpoenas.
Yeah, he's saying that his office is leaking, and you know, is there any need to? Why do you need these subpoenas when like the Bartlett administration has given you everything you asked for already?
We're showing you very good faith. That shouldn't that give me any credit at all? Like,
and then due to his credit, it's just like, no, actually.
Like, yeah, nah, that's just you being a dumbass. Like, you have the right to.
You're a bad lawyer who wanted your client to share more with the prosecutors than they wanted to know.
Right,
You're a
right.
bad lawyer.
Like your whole strategy up front of like, well, yeah, we're gonna get the meanest prosecutor against us, and we're gonna give them anything, and like just be like we're just gonna like spread our butt cheeks and like really hope they go easy on us. Like that's the idea, which is, you know, pretty terrible if you I mean, it sounds like a good idea if it's not your ass you have to spread, but but yeah, Mr. Allen.
Actually, this brings me back because you remember at the end of season 2, fucking Oliver told the president, "I want you to appoint the most like bloodthirsty, Bartlett-hating special prosecutor in the federal judiciary to investigate you." And it seems like he didn't do that. And I'm going to bring it up more next episode too, but it seems like sometimes Aaron Sorkin like writes this shit and then airs it, and then I think like a bunch of like policy wonks and his own like political advisors on staff start yelling at him about like how fucking stupid what he wrote was and how that would never happen, and then he like turns around and starts like making his character having his characters yell at each other about how stupid it is.
Yeah, where he wants to like, well, I want to acknowledge this for the nerds a little bit. But
we'll get into that more with the next episode because I think it's pretty prevalent there.
It's very prevalent next episode. Well, yeah, we'll get into that. I have some notes on that. But anyway, Mr. Rollins goes to the grand jury and special prosecutor and hands out the subpoenas for President Bartlett, Abby Bartlett, Liz, Zoe, and their other kid, Leo, Josh, CJ, Sam, Toby. So basically the whole cast,
the entire main cast, all the names that we're about to see.
Yeah. Then we cut to Donna gathering paperwork all night.
It looks like the White House to me, it looks like the White House had really slipped on like their drug testing policy that they had been talking about in season 1.
Yeah. I gotta say, it did kind of seem like that. It seemed like
apparently overdosing on your Adderall is not a violation of the White House drug policy.
Yeah, I mean, but this is like the early 2000s, so I mean, what was life back then besides like an Adderall haze? Josh is amazed. I can't remember what he was amazed about. Calls him. Donna calls him the WC crime boy. What was that supposed to stand for again? The white collar crime. Oh, yeah, exactly. The white collar crime boy. Yes, yeah. It's like until I got sucked into your white collar crime boy shit, I was a good girl who was going to college. Some old dumb joke like that. And also just more, of course, like more suggesting it's like Donna is the poor Barbie of this show, being her only storyline means like what her male counterpart who she works for like really interprets this to be. That's what her relative basis is, which sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does suck, and then
it's dated as fuck. It's it's dated for the. I mean, of course, like we're also doing this shit where it's like, by 2020 standards, the show from 20 years ago is not reaching it. Come on,
no, that's true. That's very true.
Then Sam comes to Josh in a hall. There's telling him that there's a fire in Yellowstone. And then we're not putting it out because it's good for the environment. I immediately just wrote down, not Maui at No. Don't have any responsibility for like, we're not going to run the sirens.
Well, I think things have gotten even worse since in the past 20 years with shit like this.
Yeah. I mean, with not only with climate change, but like government reaction to disaster is like pretty much just is just like, well, unless there's like a major industry that's like in trouble right now, we're going to sit on our hands. and then people who are like being affected by the disaster are like, literally, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are we giving you people taxes for to have you just like sit around and be like, oh, it's good for the environment, or hey, it's safe enough to breathe, even though we burnt all these chemicals that came off the railroad tracks. I mean, it really has. Deregulation has gotten worse. And I think we're going to get to this a little bit later because there's a big discussion about the Overton window kind of moving to the right a little bit. But we'll get to that in the next episode. Oliver and CJ are downplaying the subpoena. Oh yeah. Oliver is with CJ, like trying to figure out ways to downplay the subpoena.
Ainsley is back.
Ainsley was back, and I was pretty surprised, but I think they just needed her as like a quick reference point to be like, well, you're our inside horse for the Republicans. And she's literally telling them like, I don't have coffee with all these people. Like,
but she is able to perfectly manipulate them all in exactly the way CJ needs.
Exactly the way that they want. So it's like literally, it's almost as if she's written this way, almost as if. And they apparently have like, Mr. Rollins is apparently like a non-biased and non-partisan, like a person who's trying to mix his career like seem non-biased and non-partisan, like tries to appear a certain way. CJ abruptly leaves. They have a different enemy. Leo is then telling Josh he's got to tone down. CJ tells Leo that they need a biased prosecutor. Yeah, CJ tells Leo that they need a more biased prosecutor. That's what it was. They need a person who like wants to seem like they're way too bloodthirsty to come after them because that's going to make them seem more sympathetic. Suggests get the House of Representatives on that because they'll be hostile to them. Leo's open to it. Toby is ready to compromise at the meeting. I have ranting until DC till he sees the call. Yeah, he's ranting about how stupid this meeting is before he's about to leave the office.
Yes.
Until this fucking until secretary gets a call saying that the meeting is canceled, to which he realizes, oh yeah, this GOP senator I'm meeting with, because I think it was about like it was about some issue that liberals and Republicans always fight over. That's like, I have to fight this stupid fight that this guy doesn't understand. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, it's about the estate tax.
Oh, and they canceled it to go.
They were supposed to be negotiating a cap on the estate tax that was like $2.5 million, but the Republicans have realized that the White House is so weak that they can just push to completely repeal the estate tax.
Yeah, right now, and even before a Republican's in office, which usually seems to be the way of like. Like sometimes you can get rid of like you can put that really heinous shit underneath a Democrat, underneath your opposition, and then you can run in like, yeah, it's pretty fuck shit. But anyway, CJ with the president, observed by Leo, Margaret, and yeah, we have a scene between Margaret and Bruno. Bruno doesn't know her name. No one likes. It doesn't seem like Bruno's like very popular there, but he's like the insider cat who's good with Leo.
Yeah, it's very much a Leo Bruno connection for sure.
Yeah, he shows the member of the community outreach board at a basketball game with Buckland. I can't remember what Buckland's role is. Buckland's more role of like later on in the next episode. Leo tells Sam that Bruno wants his guy. Bruno wants his gal that he wants to send in with Sam.
To clarify, Campos is the labor organizer from California.
Yeah,
who gets all the Democrats elected, and Buckland is the governor of Indiana.
Yeah, nice little swing state that they need. Ainsley and Donna are having girl talk, and Ainsley suggests that she have a blind date with some Republican who's on the Ways and Means Committee.
Yeah, cute, funny.
Yeah. CJ puts Ainsley, of course, like more shit like all women talk about is men. Sucks. CJ puts Ainsley on Capitol Beats because apparently she kills it on there. Bruno needs Victor Campos out in public, gets position in education, longevity program. He puts him on a different board of like helping Latino students graduate high school type of thing.
Yeah.
CJ,
it's all false pretenses just to get into Washington so that they can do business.
Yeah, exactly. Get the real business. CJ with the press announces a right. What does CJ announce at the press this time?
No, when CJ is talking to the press, basically, I don't blame you for being confused because it's just CJ being competent and good at her job. Like whenever she's talking to the press, she's basically just laying the bread trails of we love the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor is our friend.
Yeah.
We're so happy and excited to be working with the special prosecutor just to drive congressional Republicans to opening up their own investigation.
Yeah. Okay. So more of the same, like, look how nice we're being, guys. Like,
right, exactly. And look how friendly we are with the guy who's investigating us.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then Toby argues with I can't remember which GOP gentleman he's arguing with about the estate tax. But he comes in, but then Josh comes in with news. The Way and Means Committee want to repeal the estate tax, and that's what like all these GOP senators are canceling shit for. The GOP guy suggests blowing it up with a veto. Josh is unsure. He's saying that we're like fighting way too many fronts right now.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, the guy Toby was talking to, that's Doug. That's Bruno's staff.
Oh, that is Doug. That's kind bald Doug who we're arguing with. So yeah, he was not a GOP guy. That's just a guy who makes. That's just a guy who gives like oppositional suggestions. Okay, but but Josh says that they're stretched thin. They're fighting on so many of these other fronts, but they do want to find out. They're going to keep going. CJ's approached by I wrote down like Democrats with bow ties, like so.
Yeah, Democrats and bow ties. Yeah, these like two totally lame looking dudes are just like, CJ, we really need to like you to turn down the friendliness towards the special prosecutor. Republicans are starting to talk about starting their own investigation. You know,
right?
Which
exactly
exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. Sam tells CJ to tell CJ that the fire meeting didn't go well. Yeah, his meeting over.
Yeah, the governor of Wyoming is very mad
about like, why don't you put this shit out?
Yeah.
And Ainsley did well on Capitol Beats. Wants her to feed story to the GOP press. And like it's literally like Better Call Saul. It's like she does exactly like she repeats it exactly verbatim for her, like how she's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Which is like damn, Ainsley, like what is in this for you? Like
who doesn't love performing psyops on the Republican Party, though? Really?
Right. Well, yeah, but like that's like if you're not really a Republican, like like
no, it is weird. It is weird that Ainsley is so gung ho to work with the Democrats to cover up their scandal when it seems like the kind of thing she would be pretty mad about.
Like, right? Like, I'm all about fucking Republicans, but like, my common perspective is like, oh, if I'm gonna act like a Republican to help Democrats fuck Republicans, but I'm just helping Democrats, seems a little counter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's like for me and my.
This blurs the line between being a civil servant and being a political operative for the administration.
Right. It totally does. Yeah, the president's about to waive executive privilege. Goes along. Yeah. That was the big about psyop about the president might waive his executive privilege. I can't believe he would do that. President in the Oval Office tells Charlie he needs pens. Charlie tells him you need a new secretary because Mrs. Lanningham used to put these pens in your pocket. That's why you're complaining about it. But the president is ignoring getting a new secretary because how could he fill Mrs. L's shoes? Sam is then with a Broncos girl. Oh yeah, Bruno's with. Sam was with Bruno's girl. Yeah, Bruno's.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds like don't get in my way.
And she's like, "You're an idiot." Like you're an idiot.
Well, no, and there is a moment here where it's like, all right, we're not making CJ look stupid this episode, so we have to make some woman look stupid.
Right.
So that's what Bruno's lady is doing here.
Yeah. They suggest a California endorsement. Don't get in my way. Donna shows up at a grill. And her little GOP boyfriend, potential blind date, was waiting for an hour and a half for her, and like she caught him as he was leaving, calling it.
And it's the dude from 7 Days. I'm guessing you probably were not like up on this show.
I was not.
7 Days was on UPN, and it was a time travel show in which the main character could travel back in time, but only 7 days at a time.
Oh.
And it was like he worked for the U.S. government. It was like a whole government project thing where like a terrorist attack would happen or some kind of, something would happen. And it would be like, all right, he's got to go back 7 days to fix it.
That's, that is, that almost sounds like one of these like conspiracy people going like, oh no, this is, that's actually art imitating life.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, he buys her a drink and they actually go on a little date, and I'm sure have like a date that'd be infuriating for like a real romantic relationship that's just talking all about politics.
It doesn't seem
where it's just like they just bitch about politics for like hours. Like, that sounds terrible. It's like I would hate to go on a date like that where we just talk about politics. Even if we agree on shit, that's even worse. Like
definitely.
CJ and the press. Yeah, CJ's with the press at night. Executive privilege. Apparently, executive privilege has been waived to protect the presidency, protect the people. And she gets out. Fellows credentials. Who's fellows credentials?
Wait.
She gives out Collins credentials. She just like sucks up to like Mr. Rollins' credentials.
No, because like basically what Ainsley had done was be like they're keeping documents. They're claiming to have waived executive privilege, but they're still keeping certain documents away from him. And they asked CJ about that, and she's like, "Oh well, Rollins was, editor of the Yale Law Review. You can look up his legal writing on the subject of executive privilege," which it turns out he and Babish had written a paper together while they were at Yale.
So she did her research and used some of his past work against him. All right.
And then we get that nice little scene between her and Oliver, where Oliver's like, "Well, thank God for LexisNexis, huh?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take?" And then he accuses her of trying to like win the ball game with one at bat, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, fuck Oliver. He's a shitty lawyer.
No. I like it. There's an element to like, because like it is kind of a very Sorkin invention to be like, yes, we're going to manipulate the entire political narrative through 3 press briefings.
Yeah. And hope that nobody notices, but like, and talks about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we led to Josh and Toby with Leo in the Cali labor delegation, who wants the compromise. Yeah,
Wait,
I'm sorry. Don't they negotiate with the California dude here, and they get the compromise?
Yes. My note taking might have been a little. I had that nice little scene. I have 7 days guy is a jackass. Is that before or after what you're talking about?
I think that's after what I'm talking about, because all I have.
Because you're right. Sam and what's her face are talking to Campos.
Yeah.
And Sam is giving him all this stuff. Campos wants something, and Sam's like, "No, we can't do that." And then she jumps in and she's like, "Yes, we can absolutely do that."
Yes,
and then Sam gets all in his feelings and throws a little hissy fit, as Sam is prone to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the guy was asking for because he started speaking Spanish and for that little bit to try to show off like, "Oh, I'm a white guy who speaks Spanish." Like
which bullshit. Sam Seaboard does not speak Spanish.
No. He learned that bit.
he took Latin in college. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. Give me a break. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then I have Donna's date with the GOP guy. It just turned into like soapbox of politics.
Soapbox. This is what republicanism means to me.
Right. Which is
the estate tax. The estate tax made sense back when wealth was concentrated in a few, but wealth isn't concentrated in a few people anymore. So,
It's more spread out now. Right. That's because that's how this works.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's how capitalism totally works. But also, we get another side end of the episode plot line where they have to go and talk to members of the Black Caucus who are voting against, who are also voting against the estate tax repeal.
Yeah,
because apparently, the first generation of black billionaires, of black millionaires, is dying, and they want to pass on their hoarded wealth of over $2.5 million over. But then there's a meeting with that where basically the guy on the caucus says like, well, we all don't vote as like a caucus. We're not like democratic centralists.
We're not a cohesive bloc like you're thinking. Basically, he refuses to commit either way.
Yeah.
To sustaining or overriding a veto.
Yes. The veto was, and basically just making more apparent that the veto is going to be a big risk. Leo and the president talk about the fire spreading. The Department of Interior prevails, and the fire is not put out because the president is convinced by their evidence. Josh and Toby.
Yeah, the Secretary of the Interior thinks that a weather pattern of like cold rain will put out the fire for them.
Yeah,
God's own fire department.
Right, and
I mean, no, like this is valid science, though. Like,
it
wildfires can be a valid and totally natural and healthy part of like the environmental cycle.
Absolutely. I mean, I absolutely agree with that.
You need that burn to create fertile soil for new growth.
But I think Tim, I think this is going to be a thing of the past. I think as we're moving forward and as conditions get drier and drier and drier, you're going to see more types of wildfires that are going to be endangering like residential areas and actual people. Like they're going to become less and less isolated and more involved in our everyday lives, which is scary to think about. But like, hey, that's the direction we're heading in.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of the wildfires in California are the result of. There aren't supposed to be that many humans living in a fucking desert using that much water.
Yeah, and that much energy.
And that much energy. Sorry, at the end of the day, that's kind of just what it is.
Why the fuck we have this city in the desert? Josh and Toby suggest doing the veto. He says like, oh, it was a tax cut. Then it goes in this little thing of like, it goes in that problem of the American dream because every American's thinking about when they're going to be a billionaire. Yeah. And I'm like, well, most Americans are thinking about like when they're going to get that six figures. Like, I think you'd have a lot of people like who wouldn't be advocating for any of this like fringe shit if they were making like closer to six figures, like, and actually being able to like get a house and be able to spread that on to their family. Those type of things will, and very often we've seen this in the past, is like when people are like doing better off, like they do fuck off with these other issues. Like it's pretty apparent. Like government gets a lot more shit when people are doing financially well. But anyway, it's like, of course they're thinking of the people with the seven digit income. Those people got to be considered first. Those are the real job creators. Then we see Mr. Rollins on the news announcing the subpoena with CJ and the whole staff with beers sitting in the office as like a bunch of soldiers looking at the TV saying, "Bring it on." Yeah. Which is like not the added like.
It's so fucking hokey.
It is it is so hokey, especially with like the legal approach they've been at, where it's like, well, yeah, your legal team is not really like. Your legal team is like, yes, like let's like let them jam us like in the butt like this. Let's just let them do that. Because we have to appear like we're nice. Oh, Tim, do you need to go and get yourself some flame, sir? The flame of the revolution. The flame of the revolution will never die. All right, then it leads us to episode 5 of the 3rd season, On the Day Before, and we have a guy. Kowalski, which I thought was Rollins's first, and he was in with a book with President. Yeah, this guy named Kowalski is walking with a book with the presidential seal on it, followed by an officer behind him to the office, brings it to the office of the executive clerk, and he delivers this bill to some other nerdy Democrat with a bow tie.
Who is just sitting by himself in a completely dark room.
Yes,
like some kind of fucking creep.
Yeah, like a psychopath. Like the executive clerk that they always hire, like some cretin. Like yeah. But yeah, he's delivered this. Yeah, that's going to be the estate tax repeal, or the estate tax repeal that the president is going to veto. Donna is then tying Josh's tie when I'm having like, well, where's Josh's? Like Donna's now also his mother.
Weirdly intimate stuff between Donna and Josh here.
Yeah. The bill gets there. CJ asks Toby what is CJ?
CJ is freaking out because she's too dumb to talk to smart people.
Yeah,
we're back to mocking CJ.
Yeah, we're back to like CJ's like, all these chemists, they all talk in like code and shit. They're all cryptographers because of the periodic table. And I'm like, yeah, this is like stupid because like this is a person who is like deals in communications, and yeah, you're gonna be damn sure that she knows how to communicate like with people during dinner. Like she's gonna know how to do this. Doesn't matter how recluse the people she's talking to are. Like, like I don't know. Like they do dumb her down like 8 levels. Yeah. But she's.
And they dumb her down just so that Bartlett can have his moment at the end, being like, "I know the chemical code of sodium.
Right.
That's like fucking great.
It's like, who the fuck are you, dude? Like, so why don't you just, yeah, why are you the fucking president then, man? Like, anyway, she's asking Toby to quiz her, I guess, trivia. Sam says the 7 GOP senators or congressmen won't show up for emergency meeting. The president and Leo are talking, GOP prep for the veto.
Yeah, the GOP has canceled.
Yeah.
There were like 7 or 8 GOP members who were supposed to be at this Nobel dinner.
Oh yeah, that's what they're getting ready for. They're getting ready for the Nobel dinner.
Yeah, they're all getting ready for the Nobel dinner, and all the Republicans who were supposed to be there have canceled because they're having a party meeting to discuss overriding the veto.
Well, but also too, and we see throughout all this episode, it's another one of these things. Like we don't see Bartlett's speeches, and we don't see like the Nobel dinner or like any part of it. And
yeah, I'm fine with that though.
Yeah, I am totally fine with it because it just is funny to me because it's like, well, all the Democrats are doing is running around this dinner too, like not really attending it, not really talking to anyone. Like everyone who's in that dinner is pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah.
White House staff is in the Oval Office with the president, and they're considering waiting on the veto and thinking about whether the GOP is bluffing or not.
Yeah. Well, and like this is what they had just discussed this the previous episode, and I swear it's like someone read the script and like wrote a whole memo to Sorkin being like, this threat would never work. The Republicans would know that this like scandal-ridden White House is super weak, and they would absolutely press their advantage. Yeah,
it just kind of seems like one of those. I need a conflict, and if I just write these people dumb enough to do it, then then they'll do this. But it's also like, well, you got to write for the period you're in and for the characters that you're in, and
yeah,
because otherwise you're just Bridgington, which is like fine. Just like at the beginning, just say we're having fun. Don't take it too seriously, nerds. Like just do that. Like you'll be way less offended. You're not offended by Bridgington for doing that, right, Tim?
I've never seen Bridgerton.
Okay, well, it's essentially at the beginning of it, they have a big disclaimer that's just like, we are repurposing stuff for dramatic effect. Like, don't be too mad at us, nerds. Like, like literally just that. Like, so, which I'm thinking is like, okay, that's fine. You're just dramatizing things a little bit to be. It's like kind of like Hamilton. Like, like you play on elements that might not been there as much, but like you make a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, the nerdy clerk shows up and the president vetoes this bitch right away. CJ, yep, done deal. CJ is with the press, spinning the estate tax for the Democratic view of it. Explains the vetoes. Explains like why the veto votes on the Nobel dinner because they don't give a fuck. It's got to be done. Sam and Toby have intel on losing votes. They need a new whip count. And I think did they get a vote scheduled? I wrote down vote scheduled. Like the vote is happening. The proceedings around the vote are happening for this entire episode. Okay.
Because we see Donna and Josh go back and forth with like ways to delay the process.
Yes. More delaying democracy. I wrote that down later on. Sam and Charlie then talk about potential immunity, which Charlie is doing the good old loyal soldier thing of like, I'm not going to pledge for immunity at all. I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's just like Charlie watch Succession and just like take the fucking like be a Greg and take the family defense. All right.
Yeah.
Choose one way or another. Kimball flipped and Leo speaks. Apparently Leo speaks to try and get him to the White House. They do some little like translucent deal to like, not translucent deal. They do some other trickery to get him there to the White House to do real business. Josh and Donna are tying a tie again, and she briefs Josh on. What does she brief Josh on? The whole episode she's saying that she needs to talk to him. Sam and Toby and Leo talk about compromises. Leo called in Leo's called by name.
Leo is called into the situation
by Nancy. Yes,
Yeah.
by Nancy. That there's a suicide bomber in Israel who killed a whole bunch of young people, including 2 students in the USA who were probably targeted. But because apparently these kids are wearing like full U.S. delegation like apparel on them.
Yeah,
which is like really strange. Like I can't like it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was going on in the mid 2000s where you're just gonna be like wearing USA shit everywhere, but.
Yeah, it made me think of like, I mean, around the year 2000 and especially the 2000 Olympics, there was a weird surge of like it being cool to wear like U.S. Olympic gear. So maybe they were at this like international soccer match wearing like their Team USA hats or something.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, we don't even know like who the soccer match was between either. Like I'm not sure.
It's in Israel, and they like later tried to like spin it as it's between a Palestinian team and an Israeli team.
Right, which I
don't think that happened.
I don't think so either. Well, I have a whole bit of notes about that part at the end too. Then the President Leo, President Leo, they're in the Situation Room over Israel. Yeah, but it targeted U.S. delegates, yada yada. And they try to like have the whole perspective of like, well, America is going to be that thing that keeps Israel off of Palestine and Palestine off Israel. And, you know, like we're the peacekeepers there. And it's like, well, nah, guys, though. It's like you're not really the peacekeeper if you're like supplying one side completely with weapons and defense. Like you're not really a peacekeeper in that case at all. CJ and Leo, CJ and Leo briefs her on Israel. CJ and Charlie. Yeah, CJ tries to talk to Charlie and tries to get him to, you know, take the immunity deal. He refuses.
Yeah.
Josh and Sam and Toby are down 4 votes, and Josh gets the governor of Indiana down. I think it's like Buckland, yeah. And Buckland's saying like, well, like.
All right. This Buckland shit is stupid because like. First of all, if you think back to last season, it was actually a plot line multiple times in season 2 and referenced right at the end that like it was Senator Gillette. It was the guy who played Cliff Maine in fucking Better Call Saul.
The guy who's really based.
Yeah, the progressive senator from North Dakota who was going to like lead a primary challenge to the president from the left. That guy is just gone. That entire storyline is gone. And now what you have is a like right-wing Democrat who's like, oh, it's the environment that's causing all these jobs to leave. And he even mentions like outsourcing jobs here. But like Sorkin created this character to have an argument with no one about like why jobs are leaving the Midwest. And this guy is just a non-existent straw man. And he's also a good old boy because this is like after the 2000 election. And I think Aaron Sorkin just really wanted to like take aim at like folksy good old boys.
Yeah,
in politics.
Yeah, Midwestern Democratic conservatives, like
anyone who talks with a drawl while talking politics, you know.
But yeah, he's talking about like challenging the president in a primary because, and he's mostly we'll get to this a little bit later because the next scene is Tony with Kimball on the estate tax, and Kimball wants grazing. Kimball wants to like do something about grazing fees. He wants to get rid of them and say like, oh, we got to help the rancher. Yada yada yada. That's his aim. CJ is with the press talking about Israel. She can't confirm or deny the identities of the victims. And the press is like, well, you don't really know. Like, you don't really know like if Americans died there or not. Oh, they're just trying to like just make her look bad. Leo tells President that some group that I basically just kind of was like, it's like some Hamas stand-in. and the president wants Israelis to stay peaceful, not go too hard, like not like, invade like another Palestinian neighborhood and kill all the people that live there, like in like a single night. Sam is with then we cut to Sam with Kendall, and they're still talking about, hey, these grazing fees help taxes. They're overall going to help your state. Yada, yada, yada. Kimball negotiates like safety net stuff. Basically the same old type of like, conservative rural.
Rural conservative, old school Democrats.
Yeah. The Democrats that today would be voting Republican probably.
Yeah. And this is Toby and Sam just like being right over that barrel.
Yes. Right over the fucking barrel. Sam tells Josh they need more time, and of course they do that little thing of like, hey, like have Congress delay the vote by suggesting like Donna, tell them to suggest this, like that'll delay us a couple hours. All right, great democracy, guys. Because unlike with Rome, you can't just like make a national holiday when you want to, when you don't want to have a vote. You just have to like do something stupid and legal for a couple hours and get them distracted that way. Josh continues with the center Dem. Campaign is dead. Nobody challenges a sitting president. He said like, and then kind of like starts sucking up to him here with like that. Well, we're afraid of your health, man. Like you look too good.
You're a Heisman winning. Yeah, apparently this guy's a Heisman winner and a U.S. Olympian.
Yeah.
And he always is doing campaign events where he's like shooting hoops at local like children's clubs and stuff, like the local Boys and Girls Club.
Offers to do some push-ups, and I immediately thought of RFK Jr. Like,
you want us to do some push-ups?
But basically uses this to butter him up, and even suggests at the end that like I think he'd be an interesting labor secretary. Like just dangles that little carrot. Leo is back in the Situation Room. Bomber has ties to some guy. I think they were like starting to get at like they're going to do a prisoner exchange or something. I think because
so basically they managed to link the bombing to like one specific Palestinian terrorist. And so they're able to tell the Palestinians, release this guy, or we're going to withhold $100 million in NGO aid to Palestine. And then the Palestinians turn that guy over to the Israelis, and therefore the Israelis agree not to like go all fucking crazy and bomb more of the Gaza Strip or whatever.
Where's that deal for Israel? I mean, come on, like where's this deal of like, hey guys, like you can't just like murder pregnant women. You can't just like shoot them and then make a T-shirt about it. All right, like you gotta like stop it with that. Otherwise, we're not gonna give you like this Iron Dome defense bullshit that costs like millions and millions of dollars that could be spent on our own people. But that's neither here nor there. CJ watches the veto coverage. Crap about Americans involved in Israel. Speculation over wardrobe changes. Yes, there's like this nasty reporter on there, nasty woman, who is reporting, who is basically just saying that like, well, CJ didn't get the identities of these Americans because she's too busy changing wardrobes. Which is just
very like, actually kind of like a spot on interpretation of like where politics would be going. Yeah, a hacky right wing reporter for sure.
Which eventually the Dems would start doing too, and start doing this hack shit of like start speculating on like, whoo, this guy, he liked to shine his shoes really good too. And it's like, aren't we good journalists? And just don't say that nowadays. Sam and Toby, Sam updates Toby. Leo's not. Sam Toby update Leo. Leo's saying fuck Buckland. Don't give that dude a single inch. He's like, tell him he's like threatening to blackmail the president, which is like fuck, like Leo. Like, come on, like whatever. Like, okay, how can I negotiate with someone like that? like who's just gonna be like, oh, I'm blackmailing the president by like trying to use leverage against him.
Right, exactly. And being like he wants all these concessions that are bad for labor unions and stuff like that.
Right. And it's like, right, just like, hammer him on that. Toby's told to just take the deal or leave it, which Toby goes really hard in one direction on that.
Because Sam has the idea of like, let's turn around and give this deal to some Republicans from like ranching territory.
Like, right, we'll take what they're giving us, which is what Republicans want anyway, and we'll just act like, well, we package that for them, which is a terrible negotiating point because honestly, if I'm your opponent, you're giving me everything I want, I'm gonna try and take you. I'm gonna try and take you for more than that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you're starting off at a bad bargain.
Yeah, you've already done the whole negotiating process with this other guy. You're absolutely right about that.
So that's how politics die, and that's how you not get anything done. After Leo suggests Leo's saying like he has some elbow story about like you gotta elbow him, otherwise you're gonna get eaten.
Yeah, it was some story about a basketball player who didn't like throwing elbows, and so he'd always get bodied during games. And then his coach was like, "Just throw one elbow during a national match, and you'll never have to elbow nobody ever again."
I still way prefer the story at the end of The Bear, where the guy who plays Oliver in this show is the uncle, and he tells this great story about who gets blamed for this big, over this big misgiven foul ball. It's a famous story for Chicago Cubs fans. I don't know baseball very well, but that's a much better used analogy. So I think writing's come quite a way since this.
Yeah,
in the using of sports analogies. Toby then tells Kimball, no, like we don't want you here. Get the fuck out of here. It gets some Pennsylvania. I think it's a Pennsylvania GOP congressman on the phone with that same offer, and then the president visits a sick Abby, tells her about Israel and that Zoe should call more.
just a nice quiet little scene between Bartlett and Abby.
Yeah, bless you. With Abby being as sick as Tim is right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me and Abby are very much kindred spirits right now.
Josh is with Buckland and. BH is giving it. BH giving it. For housing giving it. Josh delays Congress again.
Well, all right. Okay. Yeah. Congressman, let's see here.
No. No. Buckland is
Josh basically is like, I'm supposed to take you out. I'm supposed to slap you around. I'm supposed to expose you for being a horrible Democrat, but instead I'm going to reward you for being a horrible Democrat by giving you a position as labor secretary.
Yeah, you'd be interesting.
When this guy is a fucking terrible labor secretary.
Yes.
Because he is totally misidentified. And this is another note I had about earlier, where the problem that Sorkin has him identified is neoliberal politics. The process of sending millions of jobs overseas because it benefits a select amount of American corporations, because they're under
the impression that the myth works that those people are going to then use that profit that they get to create jobs here.
To create jobs that like this guy says that 55-year-old former steel workers are going to be able to do, and all of that was nonsense.
No, absolute nonsense.
And this guy. Yeah, this guy is just yelling about the environment instead, because Sorkin or this guy, whichever, cannot bring themselves to actually say, no, it's your fucking free trade agreements that are the problem.
It's unfortunately when you let people do whatever. This is a very simple concept because you learn this in kindergarten. When you let people do whatever the fuck they want, that it's not good for society. It's not. And even if these people say that, well, no, it is because we're making a lot of money. It's not necessarily that. If you're able to spread that wealth around and create a more bustling economy, that'd actually be something. But no, we have an economy that's based on the lack of wealth and just basically centralizing all this wealth within people who actually want to control the capital and who have had control of it the whole time, basically. But it's like that whole American dream speech that the last one.
Yeah.
They're all just relying on every American is thinking that they're going to be, once they make it rich, they're going to be in that position. They don't want the government coming in on them once they, get all their money.
But instead of all that, we're going to get a labor secretary who doesn't believe in like environmental protections or like basic safety regulations to protect workers.
And therefore, you need to ship those jobs to Mexico or China or Canada or anywhere where the labor is cheaper. Actually, like the labor probably won't be cheaper in Canada, but
yeah, I mean he can't possibly be a worse labor secretary than Robert Reich.
No. Yeah, I mean Robert Reich. I know, and that's like the lib like shouted over like best guy ever. I remember a good 10 years ago, I was thinking like, oh, he's pretty great. Like Robert Reich's pretty cool, and not at all. Not at all, kids. He's like Bill Murray. He's not as cool as what you think he is. All right.
Yeah, especially not when he lectured labor unions for being worried about free trade because. Right. Oh no, we're gonna create more jobs than we lose. All right, and you guys are just stupid for not seeing that.
Like obviously, but guys, just keep voting Democrats, and we would be making more jobs, guys. Like just keep doing that. Anyway, Toby and Sam then have another meeting with the GOP Pennsylvania congressman, to which this congressman just slaps that deal down and says, "Fuck no, I'm not doing this shit. Like you can't get me to do it." Yeah, like because here's the thing is that like you're gonna want me a lot more than a conservative Democrat that's gonna get you further away from it. If you try to primary me,
I'll always work with you to pass laws. These conservative Democrats aren't going to like appear on the same like platform as the president.
They're gonna want to they'll want to distance themselves from you a lot more than I will. So like what enemy do you want? Do you want the enemy that like you haven't seen yet, or do you want me? So actually like decent negotiating. Then Leo smiles at Toby and Sam, Leo then tells Charlie to take the fucking immunity.
Yeah.
And Charlie's just being like,
I don't even know. The moderate guy, I mean, he has a point, but like moderates were going to go the way of the dodo anyways. Yeah. Because moderates are shitty and fucking stupid and everyone hates moderates.
Just about. But well, I mean, it's kind of funny because I think Joe Biden is kind of that. Right, but even Joe Biden has now had to like don a progressive fursuit to like walk around in public in. Like when Joe Biden is talking in public, he's preaching a burning light gospel compared to where he was even 5 years ago. I'd say compared to that, because he knows he needs the young voters, and
right? Exactly,
and he's losing young and old voters like day by day. So yeah, he needs to try and do that because that's where the political landscape. But of course, as we both know,
there's a difference between what he's saying in public to woo young voters and what actually gets accomplished.
Precisely.
When it's a choice between like go to the wall for the things you're saying or just lay back in the cut and keep everything the same.
Right. Keep everything the same. Make sure that like, you know, your nice little student loan bill that like makes you and your buddies a whole lot of money. Make sure that stays in place.
Right. We can't totally eliminate student loans, Killian, because then his friends in the student loan industry would not have all our money.
Colleges can't just like charge ridiculous amounts for tuition because they know it's not subsidized.
Right. Exactly. Someone think of the university provosts out there.
Somebody please think of them. Do you want the alumni houses to go down in quality? Is that what you want? All right, but anyway, Anyway, moving on from the moderates dying off, and with their last win of the century, Charlie is then talking to Leo, and Leo's telling him to take the immunity deal and like don't be an idiot. And Charlie's like, I don't like you guys telling me not to fight for my team. And it's like, Charlie, these people will not fight for you, dude. Charlie, you are the first one. You're going to be the first one to go, dude. And I know on the show it's going to be written different, but in real life, they'd be throwing Charlie under the bus so fucking fast. Like, no problem.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, I told Charlie to tell everybody, and he just chose not to.
Right.
So weird. Naughty Charlie.
Right. So Charlie does not know how to protect himself, spreading a bad message to all the kids watching the show about, hey, go ahead and don't take immunity, kids. Just talk to the police.
Take the deal, rat on your boss. Yes.
Then Josh tells Donna to go home, and then she tells him about the blind.
Josh is a real prick here.
Yes, because he
wants
to
all of his feelings.
Because he wants to fuck her, but then he puts it on to like, oh, you were talking to a guy in the Ways and Means Committee. Did the press see you?
You can't fuck anybody who doesn't like me, which means you can't fuck anybody in Washington, D.C., Donna.
And I'm like, Josh, your best friend who you got on to fucking like get on this White House staffing job, you convinced to go on, was fucking a prostitute. First episode.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You and him have gone to her house in the middle of the night to harass her.
Yeah.
Bro, like, it's like you got nowhere to talk about this shit. Like,
your chief of staff is a drug-addled, like, old racist fuck, and you're just like, I will ride and die for this man no matter what he does.
Let Donna go out with...
but you hooked up with a Republican lawyer. Ew, gross, Donna. How dare you?
Gross. How'd you stand him defending the estate tax? How could you stand that? Oh dear God. I'm sure, I'm sure this is why so many, moderate liberals have like such a loving, caring relationships with their spouses. I'm sure it's yeah, Josh is disappointed. Yeah, Josh, I've written down they're disappointed. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. CJ's with the press about the prisoner exchange in Palestine to Israel.
Oh no, the blackmail and the forced turnover of a Palestinian citizen to Israel.
Yeah, and then she asked the press about civics to distract them, and keeps on calling about.
She savagely and brutally humiliates the tan suit lady. I forget her name. Sherry or whatever.
But the one that she saw on TV earlier, criticizing her like wardrobe changes. But it was funny because I was just thinking, like, what press conferences is like this? Is like the White House press secretary just like asking the media these questions and expecting real answers?
Yeah, no, I don't think it really works that way.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Like, one reporter would just be like, "Is this how you think it works?"
Honestly, I had when I watched this scene, I was reminded of when Matt Patricia was head coach of the Detroit Lions. There was a press conference where they were like asking him like really critical questions about how he had handled like something, and he just like started. He just is like, "Hey, when you ask me that question, can you sit up straight and like can you straighten your shirt? All right, you come in and you ask me these questions, and you don't even have the respect to like sit up straight and like look proper. All right, can we just have some respect here?"
One of those good old like sports interviews when the person's obviously like really emotional about other shit, and
exactly.
Like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Dude, I think that was pretty hilarious. But yes, CJ was in her feelings about it to ask this reporter, like, do you know how many members are? Do you know how many members are in the House of Representatives? Do you know many? Maybe you ask one of your classmates, where it's just like, yeah, these reporters are there to ask you questions.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then of course the reporter, like right after CJ gets off stage, is like, "Hey, what the fuck?" To which CJ says, like, "Hunting season on me is over. And like I'll grill, and like you're gonna be like excluded from all these presidential interviews if you're not nicer to me." And it's like, okay, so here's more of the start of this, like access journalism.
It's all access journalism, yes. Baby.
Yeah. So more decaying of democracy right here. Hooray, Aaron Sorkin. The whole staff is in the Oval Office, and they're talking about how fucked up Israel is. And Sam goes on his polemics about like, oh yeah, his hopes of like the soccer game where there's Palestinians and Israelis.
Two people learning to live in peace and shit.
And I'm like, you guys are ignoring the whole fucking issue of this in the first place. Like again, it's like, well, why are these people like, why are they bombing the Israelis? What happened within these last years? Like, what was American policy for the last like 60, 70 years regarding Israel? Like maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe our current involvement with them today still has something to do with that, as opposed to this bullshit about like, it's kind of like if you're playing, King of the Mountain, and you're at the top of the mountain, you've shoved everyone down, and then you're just like, okay, I won now. So like, we're done playing right now. And that's kind of what this like call for peace with this right now. It's like, okay, like Israel literally took all this shit. So like, we're done now, right? Like we're like, hey, like I won, so we're done, right? It's constantly just that ignoring of it. But of course they go on with the whole, like, why can't there just be peace in the Middle East? Because of course it's written before 9/11.
The president then points out some rule. I'm not sure if it's an Islamic rule or something, or some biblical rule.
No, it's a Jewish. It's Jewish tradition. It's a Rev Yom Kippur. So it's like Josh and Toby especially, we know, is like a devout and practicing Jewish man, kind of just blanking on the details of his own religion so that Bartlett can explain it to them.
Yeah.
He's
a theologian because he went to Notre Dame, of course.
Yeah.
this bullshit fucking college fucking football team in Indiana that sucks ass at yeah. But anyway, it gets to the rule of, yes, you need to ask the people for forgiveness a day before you ask God for forgiveness.
Yes.
Yes, and then Charlie comes in and dismisses them and tells the president it's time, and the president makes the phone calls to the 2 American victims in the Israeli bombing. And to which to conclude the episode of how hard the president's job is when you're the leader of the free world and you have to make those phone calls.
I mean, making those phone calls does suck, though, for sure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that shit neither, man.
But that's why I'm never going to run for president.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think that'll be happening in my life.
All right. So that concludes our 2 episodes. I think for next time we should watch War Crimes episode 5, and then the Indians in the Lobby episode 7.
So we're going to 6 and 7.
5 and 7. We'll skip episode 6, Gone Quiet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna change the title of this episode quick, but that's no problem. We can get that done pretty easy. I wrote down 4 and 5, but that's okay.
Oh no, this week was 4 and wait, hold on. Yeah, you're right. This week we watched 3 and 4 technically.
Yeah, it's because of the 9/11.
Because Isaac and Ishmael was not technically a numbered part of the season. It was like episode 0 of season 3.
Well, I can make the correction. That's all fine. All right. Well, I guess next time, folks, you'll see the next 2 episodes of The West Wing. What?
5, Gone Quiet, or War Crimes, and the Indians in the Lobby. We are skipping the episode Gone Quiet.
Okay. We're skipping Gone Quiet, but we're going the 2 right after that, everybody. Get ready, because the Working Wing will come back.
Until
Keep on working, folks.